Zhou, and I'm the owner of Silver Whisk Bake Shop. So Silver Whisk Bake Shop is an online cake shop that's based in the Boston area. Hello, fellow Boston people. And we specialize in all different types of like cakes and confections, but like my thing is wedding cakes. But today's gonna be a little special because it's holiday season. We won't be making a wedding cake, but we will be making a holiday themed cake. So I want to thank you, Bake Deco, too, for having me here. I'm very, very excited to teach everybody some cool techniques. So maybe I will just give you a brief overview of what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to be making a single tier cake, and we're going to be decorating it with poinsettia flowers and greenery, some accent greenery, and then also a really cool like Christmas ornament that we're gonna adorn the cake with. And I'm gonna go over all the tools that I have that we're gonna be using today. And also don't worry about like writing down what you need or what supplies I'm mentioning, because I actually have like a whole list of everything that we're using today in my profile. So if you go to, I'll mention this again at the end of the video too, but if you go to @SilverWhiskBakeShop on Instagram, then you could click my bio link and it's gonna be like the first link that you see. It's like, here's all the tools and supplies that we used for this demo today. So we're gonna need a cake, right? And I actually just put 2 cake boards together and I added a gold ribbon just to give it like a really sophisticated, like fun holiday feel. And then this is a 7-inch cake that is just iced in buttercream. So you could do it with fondant, you could do it with buttercream, whatever you want, whatever color you want. I have just a plate that you'll need for later, and you'll see why. We have a half sphere mold, and these are about like 2.75 inches in diameter. This is what we're going to be using to make our Christmas ornament decoration. We have a bunch of color gels. My favorite brand color gel is AmeriColor. Do you guys use AmeriColor too? Because I feel like every time I use like a red or black or dark color, it always comes out really, really nice. So today we have black, we have red, super red, super black, we have leaf green, brown, and royal blue. And then if you guys have questions like as we go, feel free to just write it down in a comment, and if I can get to it, we'll get to it, and we'll also have a Q&A session after this. I have some cool sparkly sprinkles by Wilton. I have a little bit of extra buttercream because I'm going to be showing you how to make dark buttercream today. We have red candy melts. That's going to be for an ornament. We have a couple of different size spatulas if we need it. We have a like an icing blade, just like a spatula. We have a spoon, and this is a giant flower nail. This one is 3 inches in diameter, and we're gonna be piping our buttercream flowers and greenery on this. I have some parchment squares, so it's just parchment paper, and I cut them up into squares. They don't need to be perfect squares, just cut them up. We have gold jages. These are by Eau Creme, and they're 4 millimeters. It's the 8-ounce one. I got some pastry bags from Ateco. Love Ateco. That's another one of my favorite brands. And the one that I use the most are 12-inch bags. This is really good for like, piping details, maybe frosting like 6 to 12 cupcakes. You don't need a whole lot. This one I use for everything. I have some gloves, and we have some pastry tips and some scissors, and that's it. So that's a lot of stuff. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do right now is we're gonna be making the gold poinsettia flowers. So we gotta make some red buttercream. So I'm gonna teach you how to make a dark colored buttercream, because that's kind of tricky, right? So the first thing that we want to do is, actually I'll walk you through it first. When we're making dark colored buttercream, have you ever had the issue of you have your buttercream and you add a bunch of food coloring, right? Your food color gels, and no matter how much you mix it in, it just doesn't get dark enough? Because I've had that problem for a long time, and I just found out kind of recently how to make it much darker, and it's actually super easy. So we're gonna take some of our buttercream, just like this, and right now this is it's just Swiss meringue buttercream. It's emulsified, it's thick, it looks good. We're actually gonna melt it in the microwave. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna melt this in the microwave, and I'll tell you why when I come back. And then we're gonna make a super dark red buttercream. And if you guys have a cake business or something, write it down in the comments. I want to hear about it. I'll be right back. Any questions too, feel free to comment. Questions? No? Quiet. Okay. All right. So we have melted buttercream. The reason why I want to melt this is because Swiss meringue buttercream or buttercreams are like an emulsion, right? Like butter is made up of fat and water, but when it's in the form of like a block of butter, it's emulsified, it's solid. It's like the water and the fat is not going to separate. But in this case, we do want it to separate. And the reason is these food color gels, right? Like the ones that we normally buy, they're water-based color gels. There's water-based color gels, and then there's oil-based color gels. Water-based color gels are for things that have some water in it, like our buttercream. But the reason why you would use an oil-based color gel or oil-based color is for things that are all fat. So it's things like chocolate. So when you don't want to mix water with chocolate, right? If you don't know that, then that's one thing you definitely don't want to do, because it might cause your chocolate to seize. But because this is water and water, we are good. So we have our melted buttercream, and I'm gonna add the super red color gel. And we're just gonna mix that up. And I always put a little bit more red, because after this step, guys, we're gonna add some regular buttercream that's not melted. And because that's white, right, it's gonna get a little bit lighter. So now we have our melted red buttercream. But you can already tell how much darker that is, right? If we were to add that color gel in this regular buttercream, it would not be the same. It would definitely not be this red. And that's because it's water-based. So all the color is going into the water that is in the butter. And when we melted it, we separated the water and the fat. But now, like, we can't ice a cake with this, right? So we have to bring it back to an emulsion. In order to do that, that's why you will add your buttercream that's already emulsified. And you could wait for the heated buttercream to, cool, and then you can emulsify it again. But sometimes it's just like, it will still be split for a while, like saying that the oil and the fat and the water won't come together. So this is just a lot easier if you already have some like prepared buttercream. And just mix it until it's even. And you see, like, It's a little bit thin right now just because it's still a tiny bit warm. But what you can do is you can pop it in the fridge and maybe in a couple minutes give it another mix, and then it will look like this, right? So it's gonna get cooler, and then as it gets cooler, you're gonna keep on mixing it, and it's gonna become emulsified again. So the colors that we want to make today are red, and these are already prepared. Then we have green, so it's the same exact thing. If you're making black buttercream, if you're making green, dark blue, whatever, it's the same exact thing. Melt part of your buttercream, add your color gel, and then the color gel is gonna totally saturate all the water in your buttercream. It's gonna turn that beautiful dark color, and then you add your already prepared buttercream that's not melted into the melted mixture, and then you emulsify it. So I feel like I just did a lot. Like, do you guys have any questions? Any questions about like how to make dark buttercream or how emulsions work? Easy, okay. All right, so let's make a poinsettia flower. And to do that, we're gonna use a pastry tip in the 12-inch bag. And the pastry tip it's number 366. So a Teco or Wilton should have this. And if you don't know how to fill a pastry bag, so you hold it like this, right? You wanna fold over the edges and tuck your hand right there. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're gonna use, number one, that's gonna cover our hands, so it's not gonna get dirty. And number two, when we're putting our buttercream into the bag, I'll just scrape it right against my hand like that. So it keeps it nice and clean. Have you ever like had a messy bag full of buttercream and you're trying to pipe and it's just slipping everywhere, and then you're like frustrated, and then it's just like, this is a mess? I feel like that's happened to me a lot when I first began cake decorating. So definitely keep your hand clean and then scrape it against your hand. All right, so we have some red buttercream with our tip. And this tip is actually like a leaf tip, but you can use tips for anything, right? Like this one with a V. You really can use it for whatever you want. They just call it like a leaf tip, I think. So then we get our huge flower nail. That's a big old flower nail. It's 3 inches in diameter. We also need a parchment paper, a square, because this is what we're gonna pipe. This is where we're gonna pipe the flower on. We also need another pastry bag filled with red, and just like a round tip. It really doesn't matter. You don't even need a tip. You could just cut the tip off, and as long as it's like a small circle, that's fine. So what we're gonna do to make this flower, oh, we also have a little circular tip. This is tip number 3, and this is a lemon yellow. This is gonna be the stamen for our flower. So when you're piping buttercream flowers, you wanna grab your flower nail, right? And because we want to stick the parchment paper on the flower nail, I'm just going to add a tiny bit of buttercream. Okay, so when we're making poinsettias, because the petals are kind of big, right? We need to support them. We have to support the petals. So I'm going to pipe a ring, like a thick ring, about the size that I want the poinsettias to be. And that looks good to me. So we have like a thick ring. And this is gonna support our petals. So now, when you're using your pastry bag, right, you kind of want to twist the bag until it's like taut. And now to squeeze out the petals, to make the petals, You see how it's like a V? Okay, let's try. How's it now?
Good.
So we have awful Wi-Fi, even though we totally upgraded. But I think it was our Wi-Fi that was messing it up. But we're connected now. Can everybody see and hear okay?
I think so.
All right. So I don't know where we got cut off, but we made a ring for our poinsettia petals. This is going to support the petals. And the pastry tip, even though it's kind of like an upside down V right now, we want it to be like this. Like the V is like 90 degree, right? So we want the top tip here and the bottom tip here. And now I'm gonna pipe 5 larger petals. And while I pipe them, I'm gonna do this type of movement very quickly. And that's gonna give us a cool texture. You see it's like that like classic look, right? Okay, so we have our 5. Now we want to do another 5 petals, but we want to do them a little bit smaller. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we do a final 3 petals, even smaller. 1, 2, 3. That looks awesome. Okay, so now we're gonna put some of the stamen in it, right? The yellow bits. And like, I'm just gonna, ooh, the buttercream got cold. Just like, pipe these little guys out. You could do dots, you can make them taller like this. Like if you wanna make them tall, what I'm doing is I'm applying pressure to the bag. Not too hard, but you know, I'm applying pressure, and when I want to stop, I just let go. But that's so cute, right? Like, it's awesome. It's like, there's a lot of dimension to it. The color's really vibrant. Okay, so now, how do you actually get this off the flower now? That's why we have a plate. Let me see. Okay, parchment paper. Just take it off like this. I'm gonna use my index finger and my thumb to hold it, and my other hand's underneath to like support the flower, okay? So just like that. And now I will put it here. So we'll do another one of these, and then we're gonna pop it in the freezer, and that's when the buttercream will firm up, and then you can like actually take it off the parchment paper and put it on the cake. So we'll do another one. But any questions on like coloring your buttercream, tips, petals, anything like that, or how to make this? Nothing?
Not yet.
Man, anything else, guys? You guys are good. Okay.
They're just saying hi, waving.
Hey! Okay, we're gonna do another ring, right? This is gonna be to support our petals. So you want to make it like the size of the petals. Okay. Now we want to make the petals. We'll do our 5 large ones. Once my buttercream is like not as easy to like hold, it's like it feels loose, I'm gonna give it a twist.
Do you have a certain proportion of melted to unmelted buttercream?
Based on that earlier example being too melted, I think probably like, I'd probably melt like 30% of it to 40%, and then add your emulsified, like already prepared buttercream to it.
Yes, the video is being recorded, so you can rewatch it later.
Yes, thank you. All right, so now we will pipe the 5 large petals. So remember, we're gonna go in this motion, right? It's gonna be like doop, 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 doop. Like you wanna make that sound as you pipe it. But you see like all the cool texture, right? That's so cool. Okay, so now we'll do the 5 medium petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as I'm like doing the petals, right? As I'm piping them, you see me like moving the nail around. So after the 5 medium petals, we want to do the 3 smaller ones. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now our final thing is we're gonna add some little stamen. Okay. Okay. I think it looks good. All right, let me stop here. Okay, so now we're gonna put this flower onto the plate. And just get this stuff out of the way. So index finger, thumb, hold it, and use your other 3 fingers for support. Just like that. And then right here. So cute. Okay. So now we have our poinsettia leaves, or poinsettia petals. And now we're gonna do the leaves. So poinsettia leaves are just like simple shape, a little bit on the bigger side, really beautiful, vibrant, sometimes dark green. We can use, it's gonna be the same exact thing as we set the flower nail up. So for this tip, we're using a 127. And for this buttercream, I use leaf green, a touch of navy blue, and some brown. But really, if you like super bright colors, it could just be leaf green. If you wanna like mute it a little bit, you can add a little brown. If you wanna make it darker, you can add some blue or some black. So really just have fun with it, right? It's whatever your personal style is. So kind of like the poinsettia petals, here's the skinnier top, right? And here's the fatter bottom. When we pipe, we're gonna move upwards like this, and we're gonna give it a little shimmy, just like we did with the petals. And the skinnier part of the pastry tip is gonna be on top, okay? So, and we're gonna move like this, and then bring it back down. So, and because the buttercream is a little bit cold right now, it's turning out jagged, but totally okay. Just fix it like that, all right? Nothing that cannot be fixed. I'm just gonna smooth it out. And now we have a leaf. I did the same thing. We're just gonna take it off, and we're gonna put it on our plate, just like this. So I'll do that one more time. So buttercream on the nail. Then we will soften this up a little bit. Okay. Make sure it's like taut, nice and tight, so I can squeeze it out easily. Pointy top here, fatter top on the bottom. And then we're gonna do the same exact thing. So, okay, now the buttercream is like a little bit softer, which is nice. But even if you have the jagged edges, you can clean it up now, or you can, after we put it in the freezer, right? Sometimes I'll even take like a toothpick and just scrape off the little bits that I don't want. So anything can be fixed. Put this over here. Now I'm gonna put that in the freezer. So probably like 5 minutes. These things are going to be pretty firm. And then you can add them to your cake. But I'll show you guys some other things first. I'll be right back. Any questions, feel free to comment.
Quiet.
I know, quiet.
Oh, what kind of buttercream is that?
It is Swiss meringue buttercream. It's the easy Swiss meringue buttercream because we don't have time sometimes. So this one is Liz Merrick's recipe. It's by Sugar Geek. And she has like everything laid out, all the storage, temperature, this, that. Like it's a very, very good and delicious and easy buttercream. Okay, so let's make the ornament. And to do that, we're gonna need a half sphere mold, right? And we're going to make a chocolate shell. And then we're gonna put on the side of the cake. So I have the candy melts here. I'm gonna give these a melt, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So give me some questions, guys. Tell me, what are your plans for the holiday? Are you making anything? Are you gonna try to make this cake after maybe? Pipe some poinsettias? What's the plan?
Is it cooked Swiss meringue or Liz's easy Swiss meringue?
Oh yeah, easy Swiss meringue. So it's I'm here. I just melted the chocolate. So you don't need to cook it. That's the beauty of it. It's like, you know how you typically for traditional Swiss meringue buttercream, you are heating up your sugar, your egg whites, and then you're emulsifying it with your butter and adding your flavorings. For easy Swiss meringue buttercream, you're taking pasteurized egg whites. So egg whites in a carton, just make sure it's pasteurized. At least in the US, it's like, I think every carton says it's pasteurized. And that means that those egg whites have already been heated to a certain temperature that kills off the bacteria. So for the easy Swiss meringue buttercream, I'll be right back. Let's not, chocolate's melted, 1 second. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, for the easy Swiss meringue buttercream, like instead of like using granulated sugar, you just use powdered sugar. That's it. So you have a bowl of your egg whites, right? You dump in your powdered sugar and then you whip that up and that turns into a meringue. And then you add your butter. So you don't need to go through the process of heating up the eggs because the egg whites have already been heated. So anything like all that dangerous bacteria is already gone. Does that make sense? We'll go with it. Okay, so we got our chocolate candy melts, not really chocolate, but just almost the same, right? We melted it down. This is like a gorgeous red. And I'm pretty much just gonna put some into this mold and spread it around so it's like an even layer. Okay, this is just odd. So earlier we were freezing because, is it working now?
I mean, because of...
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, but is it
I was
working
just
now?
touching something. Yeah.
Okay. So earlier it was like the live was freezing up a little bit because I don't know. I just took it off Wi-Fi, now I put it back on. Why does that happen? Does anybody else have like experience with doing lives and then it kind of just like freezes every now and then? Is it just connection or is it something else? Okay. So here we have our shell, right? And I don't want to fill it up all the way because we don't need that. Number one, save some chocolate. Number two, we want to keep the ornament light so when we hang it on the cake, it's not just gonna like fall all the way down, right? It's gonna be nice and light. And then with magic of preparation, so you put that in the fridge, I don't know, like 5 minutes or something. And then boom, you have a Christmas decoration. So honestly, I didn't even think about how we should decorate this yet, but I think it would be cool to like add some melted chocolate. Maybe we could do some like thick like stripes, and then I'll dip it in the gold dragées.
Question.
Yes.
Annie asks, what brand of pasteurized egg whites do you use?
I don't remember, but like anything from the supermarket. And I go to Restaurant Depot, like I think it's, I'm not even gonna say it because I don't even want to mess it up, but any egg white carton. I've used Trader Joe's, so just any egg white carton, as long as it says pasteurized, you're good to go. And then these, so just a heads up, these are they're not edible, but they're non-toxic, which means that if you eat them, you'll be safe. But if you want to make gold dragées that are 100% edible, say you're like making it for a customer, what you can do is you could just buy white sugar pearls, put a couple drops of lemon extract or like anything that's like high content in alcohol that'll evaporate quickly, and then add some gold dust or any type of like, you know, powder, silver, luster dust. What else can you add? Oh, so then, sorry. So you put it in like a container or something. I didn't even finish explaining to you. Put it in the container, shake it up, and then your pearls will be evenly colored with whatever color you put in it. Isn't that cool? And then that's a really cool way too, because it's like, you don't have to buy every single colored sprinkle. You could, yes, that is very convenient, but you could also make your own colored sprinkles that are 100% edible with like a couple of different luster dust or powder or whatever. It works with dry dust though. I've tried it with like, you know, what's it called? Like gels or something that's like liquidy. It's not as good. So we'll see how this goes, guys. My plan is to make some thick stripes and then we'll dip it. That's the plan. If the plan doesn't go accordingly, we improvise, right? And that's what you can say. It's like, oh, it's rustic. All right. Shall we? Okay. I'll just do it on this. But this is such a cool mold. You use it for like hot cocoa bombs. That's huge. Has anybody made hot cocoa bombs? I've never actually made hot cocoa bombs, but I know that's like super, super popular. All right, do we think this is gonna turn out good, guys? Let's see. Maybe we'll add some more stripes.
Baked by Montana said they made over 100 last year.
Cocoa bombs?
I think so.
Oh my gosh. So that's like you filled 200 shells, you made 200 shells, you made cocoa powder for it, Did you add like marshmallows and stuff inside too? That's a lot of cocoa bombs.
Is that red chocolate or buttercream?
Oh, it's the candy melt, so it's the chocolate. So it's the same exact thing that we made the shell with. All right, we'll just see how this goes. And just take it slow. All right. Okay. Okay. I'll show it to you guys in 1 second. Okay, we have stripes. And I'll just cover up this area. You know what I think would be good for this too, probably easier, which I was debating.
That's okay.
Oh, still good. Okay. Is to use like something finer than Zhou's, like sprinkles. But this actually turned out pretty good. Bling it out a little bit, you know? Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside so we can let the chocolate firm up. That's cute. I like it. Okay, we have our chocolate decoration. Let me put this aside. Okay. So now we can actually start working on the cake. And we're gonna work on like the accent, the greenery. Let's start decorating our cake. Does anybody else make cocoa bombs? I've seen like some people sell like 100 of them. They'll make like different flavored ones. I saw some very like interesting flavors. Okay. So now we have our cake. And as I make this cake, before like I decorate stuff, I like to just think about how I want it to look overall, where I want to put everything. So we have this color. I just mixed, I made brown buttercream and I just added some of the already prepared green buttercream to it. And then I added a little bit of red too. Because I just want it different enough from the other colors, just so there's like something interesting. Not just a couple of one-dimensional colors. So I'll pipe it like this. My plan is, I think I want it to be kind of like a semicircle, but I want it to hang on the side, like some pine accents, and then I want to hang the ornament here. So that's the goal. So let's while we have that design in mind, let's just outline it so we have a guideline for where to go, right? So let's do, all right, kind of like a, and then I want it to hang. Okay, so here's our like loose guideline. So now I'm just gonna pipe some pine leaf accents. And when I'm holding my piping tip and I'm doing detailed work, I'm holding it like this, but also I need to guide my hand, because if you're just using one hand, it's like, you know, it'll be okay, but it might feel a little bit shaky. You won't have as much control. So use your index finger of your other hand and place it on your pastry tip, and then guide your pastry bag for where you want it to go. So pine, right? I think I'm just thinking about like little Little pine needles like that. And I really like this just because it's like cool texture, you know? Are you guys gonna bake for the holidays? Any like cakes or cupcakes or bread? Any cake decorators? You know what my family's gonna be doing? We're gonna be having hot pot. We're gonna be having hot pot, and maybe I will bring a cake. I don't know yet. Have you guys ever had hot pot? It's like a it's like you use like hot broth, and you cook your food at the table. So you'll have like your raw like meats and vegetables, and there's like a huge pot of like broth, or you could use water or something, and then you dip your meat and vegetables in it and you cook it yourself, which is kind of cool. So I'll just do like a couple of patches here.
Someone said vegan logs.
Wait, what does that mean? Like a Yule log? Vegan log. That sounds interesting. Vegan Yule log? Okay. So usually when I do like decorations, I want it to wrap around. So these pine needles are facing this way, so I want the pine needles to face that way too, you know? It's like, I feel like it just looks better that way. I know like the wreath cakes are really in right now. Or they have been for a while. That's so cool though, look at this texture, right? You just keep on adding your pine needles. If you want like some areas to be higher, add some more. Did we ever figure out what that vegan log is?
A Christmas log, so probably a Yule log.
Oh, cool. Ooh. I hope you post a photo of that. If you do, just write my name in the comments because I want to see that. That sounds awesome. Has anybody else ever made like a Yule log before? Okay. Okay, so.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for the answer. All right.
Someone said, yes, chocolate.
Chocolate. Ooh, that's a classic. It's so good.
Baked by Montana, she said, yes. It's called Bouche de Noël.
Oh, Bouche de Noël. Good job, honey. Good job. That was good. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
What's that?
A Yule log.
Okay.
The French way to say a Yule log. Man, have you seen those like crazy technical, super pastry master French Yule logs? It doesn't have to be French, it could be anything, but it's like, you know, they'll make like a mousse and then drizzle it in like a glaze and all that. It looks so good. I made it one year and it turned out pretty good. So we have our pine needle accent, right? So now maybe let's add our poinsettias and greenery. And I'm thinking about where I want to add the ornament. I don't like things when it's like too perfect. I want it a little bit off-centered. So maybe like here. You know what I'm saying? So right over there. So I think with that, I will actually add maybe like a yellow string for the ornament to hang on. So I'm just gonna mark it here. We're gonna make a little string. Cool. Okay, that's gonna be the string that the ornament hangs on, okay? All right, so now I will get the poinsettias from the freezer. And the greenery. Be right back. And I prepared some more earlier so we could like zhuzh it up a little bit, you know? Okay.
What is the yellow thing?
it's the string for the ornament that will be there. It looks random now, but I promise it'll make sense later. So we made like this half sphere ornament and it's gonna hang off this pine needle. Okay, so, all right, now I want to think about, before I actually start decorating my cake, what I like to think about is, do I want to add more dimension to it? So do I want to add like some flowers here? Do I want to bring some that are raised? I don't want the petals to all be flat. Totally cool if you want them to be flat, but I just want to like zhuzh it up a little bit so I can put some support under it. So just kind of like we did with the flower petals, right? Like in order to keep these petals up, I had to pipe a foundation around it. So we're just gonna I'm gonna pipe out the areas that I want to put the flowers on. So I usually will start with what's gonna be on the bottom first and then what's going to be on top. So when I'm thinking that way, I want to add the greenery first, right? Because that's going to be at the bottom. And then I want to add the flowers on top. And then we can like accent it more if we want. So I'm going to hoist this my way for a second so I can see what I'm doing. So for greenery, I'm going to use a similar colored buttercream. It's okay if it's not the same exact green, no biggie. But if, you know, if these details are showing, then you do want it to be the same as your green leaves. So let's see. I think I want some like hanging on the side. I'm just gonna do a little bit at a time. Let's do maybe like one here. All right. Maybe this one I want it to like be tilted so the front has some dimension to it. I think I want it to be tilted here because this part's kind of bare. I want to add some here. I want to add some here. I want to add more here because I want to put the flower on top of that. Okay, maybe one here. Here, here. And then we can always add more layer if we want. So while the flowers and the leaves are still cold, right, while they're still firm, I'm gonna put on some gloves. And you could use a spatula too, but I kind of just want to like pick them up, grab them, and put them on my cake. Has anybody ever piped buttercream flowers before? If so, like what kind of flowers have you made? I've done roses, I've done dahlias. It's like they look so sophisticated, right? And so beautiful, but it's actually, a lot of them are pretty simple to make. So I'm taking the parchment paper, I'm just holding it with one hand, and with the other hand, I'm quickly gonna add it to, you know, our little blobs of buttercream. And I don't wanna hold it too long because I don't want it to melt.
A bunch of people have made roses.
Roses, yeah, that's a classic. I love roses. And I'll never get sick of them. And like, if you haven't tried it before, one fun thing that you can do with a rose that, you know, if you haven't done it, you can make it 2 different tones, right? So you have your piping bag, right? Pretend the tip is here. This is your piping bag. On one side of the piping bag, you can do like a section of like one color. Let's say you want to make, I don't know, a blue rose, right? With a light blue accent. The accent color, you can just like pipe it on one side of the piping bag and then fill the rest out with the blue. And then when you pipe it out, you get like 2-toned color roses. So that's really cool. And that's super simple. If you already know how to pipe roses, like that's another way to amp it up.
Are those buttercream leaves?
They are buttercream leaves, yeah. We piped these earlier. We used a petal tip. It's so weird. We're using a leaf tip for petals today, and we're using a petal tip for leaves. I guess it's not that weird, but to me it is, right? It's like, that's what you're used to calling it. So I used a petal tip to make the leaves. And you can go back. There's going to be a replay of this available, a record of this. So let's see. Okay, now I definitely want this here. Here.
Do you remember what tip number you use?
For
the leaves.
The leaves, let me see. You know what? I think it was tip 127. But I will have all the tools and supplies that I used with the exact tip numbers and everything on my profile, which is at Silver Whisk Bake Shop. So if you go on Instagram and you click my bio link, it's already all there actually. And you click one of the links and it's gonna tell you like supplies and tools that we use for holiday cake decorating today. So definitely check that out after. Okay, I think we got a good amount of leaves. I'm gonna stop here or else I'm gonna get a little too crazy with it. Okay, so now let's add some flowers, right? Well, they're still cold. So definitely want to nestle one right in the middle. That one is like asking for a flower. Gonna do that. Okay, maybe one right here, right? We've got some pretty little leaves. Okay, where else should we put it, guys? Maybe I'll forget this leaf and I'll put it on here. Okay. Maybe like one on the side, be a little fancy. Okay. All right. Leave that there, and then if we want to add more later, we can add more later. So let's put, I like to put the bigger ones towards the center. Really, you could do whatever you want. I'm just telling you what I do. Okay, let's actually do the one that we piped. How pretty is that, huh? And because it was frozen, let's just pick it right up and plop it. Isn't that cool? So now because we have leaves underneath it, we piped a little support for it, like with some more buttercream, it's propped up. It's like not just flat on the cake, and it just elevates it, you know? Okay, so now let's put some little guys on. These are some that I made earlier. And I was gonna say, like, if you're making more leaves, you can always like reuse the parchment. Also, if you don't like wasting stuff, one thing that I like doing is whenever I'm cutting parchment rounds for my cakes, right? Like you're lining your cake pan with parchment and I have excess parchment left over because I cut it off, I'll actually just use those strips. You see how this is kind of like circular right here? I just use the extra and I just cut it up into weird squares so I can use them for piping like greenery and flowers later.
What is the brand of the red color you use for your buttercream?
Super Red. Super Red by Americolor Gel. The best red in my opinion. I love it.
Once the buttercream gets to room temperature, will it hold its shape?
If it's at room temperature and you're not anywhere very, very warm. But usually if like you have a lot of details like this, what I like to do is I'll take the cake out. It'll hold just fine if it's at room temperature for a couple hours. But I'll just say if you made one for your family, right? And you want to serve it so it's nice and not too cold when you eat it. You could take it out, I don't know, 3 hours or something before, or 4 hours, as long as it's room temp. And really, it depends on your buttercream too, right? So you want one that's like firm, stiff enough to hold the decorations. Like for example, if I added more milk to this, right? Or if the buttercream was really soft and it got a little bit liquidy, then we don't want to chance it. Then I would just keep it in the fridge. If it feels soft, just keep it in the fridge, take it out before you slice it. That's always safe too if you're not sure. So that buttercream is getting a little bit warmer. So I will hurry up because I always take too long. I spend so much time like fiddling with it, but this is like the most fun part, you know what I mean? Okay. Cool, huh? So cool. Okay, maybe let's add, what do you guys think? Any other places I should add it? Maybe I'll add some more greenery too. Just to like balance it out. I feel like there's a lot of flowers. Do one here. Do one here. We'll do one in front of this. And any in the front maybe. Let me see. Yeah, I just want like a little bit here for this one. Okay. And then I think that'll be good. So let's add some more greenery. So cool, right? And those were not hard to pipe. If you didn't see how we piped it, you can catch a replay, the recording of it, which will be on Big Deco's feed. Oh, perfect. Okay, 2 more leaves and we'll be done. Cool. Last one. Last one I'll put here. Okay. Alright, awesome. So cool. And if you don't use up your buttercream flowers, you just keep them in the freezer and use it another time. Okay. So now is the decoration of the Christmas ornament. So I was thinking about how to attach this, and I think how I want to attach it is, so we'll have it here, right? Hanging off there. And this is pretty heavy, so I want to make sure I secure it with buttercream, but I don't like it when, you know, like sometimes if you're adding something heavy to like the side of cake and you like jam it in, but then you can tell it's jammed in and it just messes up the whole vibe. We're not trying to go for that. So I think we'll pipe some buttercream in here, right around the edges, but we'll let it protrude outside of the mold, so then we'll stick it in. That's the plan, okay? That's the plan. Let's see what happens. Whoops. All right, it doesn't matter what color you have it. Okay, here's the mold. I'm flipping it, and this is my plan. Get what I'm saying? If you guys have any other ideas, I am very open.
People are just saying it looks amazing, looks beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Let's hope it sticks. Let's see what happens. Got the whole rainbow up in here. Okay. We're gonna make this work, guys. We're gonna make this work. Okay. Shall we try? Hold on, let me do... No, I don't... The thing is, I don't want it to be too heavy. You know what I mean? Red. Okay. I'm gonna turn around so I can see it. Let's see. Which way do we want it? Maybe like tilted a little bit. Okay, this way. Awesome. Cool. So I'm just gonna fix the string, because that is not a believable ornament. Hold up. And we'll just add like a little area where it's like hanging, right?
Maybe chocolate would work to stick it on the cake.
We could try that on buttercream. I don't know if it'll like sag if the buttercream, if it goes on the buttercream, but that could work. If it's cold, especially. We should try that another time, guys. That's a good idea.
Looks great. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, we did it. Thank you for the moral support.
Exquisite.
Exquisite. Oh, thank you. Guys, any other questions while we're all here together? Any cake questions? I like this, huh? Okay, so now we have our buttercream cake. Let's see, awesome. Maybe this one I'll just scoot over a little bit. So fun. Oh, you know what else we could do, guys? I almost forgot. We got the sugar. So, the sparkly sugar, right? Anytime when a cake looks good, but it could be a little better or a little more interesting, just add some sprinkles. And it doesn't need to be like super colorful sprinkles. This is cool because it's gonna make it look wintry, right? It's like a little bit shiny, coarse, like snow. Other things that you could do is we can add some like more of the gold dragées. And remember, you can make it like 100% edible with some sprinkles of vodka or what's it called? Extract, and shake it out with some luster dust. But I kind of want to just top this off with a little like snowy look, you know? Yeah, it's like, it's still simple and elegant, but it's just a little extra. Nothing wrong with being a little extra. Ooh, okay, I like that. It looks like more Christmassy, right? So you can also do this with white sugar pearls, right? Small white sugar pearls. Every time I try to add it to the front of a cake, I feel like Salt Bae, because I just like grabbed it, which we're gonna do, but then it just gets messy. But whatever, that's okay. Just like little Salt Bae it, you know? Okay. Maybe we'll add just a little bit of like gold. I kind of like it the way it is, but let's just see, right? Okay. That's very festive. What else could you add to this? You could add gold leaf. And really this is the Christmas colors, but you can kind of make it to whatever color you want. You can make it blue, silver, gold, black, green, red, yellow. Change up the ornament color, get different colored chocolate.
How did you put the gold pearls on the ornament?
Oh, that one came out great, luckily. So we have our, we use the Wilton candy melts, right? So I just applied the same color chocolate that I made the shell out of. So the shell's already firmed up, it's good to go. And then I used the melted chocolate and I piped it onto the ornament, the chocolate shell, and then I dipped it in the gold jages. So just get like a bowl of like sprinkles or whatever it is you want to dip it in. Another way you could do it is you could paint on a color, right? Use the dust, mix it up with a little bit of alcohol. But this is our cake, guys. So again, if you can rewatch this, the recording will be posted up on Baked Deco's feed shortly. And all the tools and supplies that we use today, it's going to be on my profile, which is at Silver Whisk Bake Shop. And then you can go to my bio link, you click the link, and it's like literally everything is listed out with the link for where you can find everything. So also, if you are a bakery business owner or an aspiring baker that is interested in business, feel free to follow me because every week I'm posting some helpful tips that I wish I had when I first started my bakery. So feel free to follow that as well. And any other questions before we hop off?
Wish says it's gorgeous.
Thanks, Elise. You guys need to check out Wish too. She got the like most fun, colorful, whimsical cakes. And she does Pop-Tarts, which is pretty awesome.
People are just saying it's beautiful. Thank you. It was great.
Thank you for joining. Okay, guys. Happy holidays. I hope you bake something fabulous. And if you don't, I hope you eat a lot and have a good time with your family, your loved ones, and your friends. Okay? Bye. We can end it.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see. One second. Good question.
No, don't.
Okay, I think we just get out of it. Okay, bye guys.